What's up, YouTube world? Today on Wrenching in the Parking Deck, we're working on the Porsche 996 cooling system. We're going to be changing the radiators and we're going to be changing the resistor. And you get to see me do all this live on YouTube. Well, not really live, pre-recorded on YouTube.
DJ Cash.
What's up, YouTube world? I'm your brother Reza, and today, wrenching in the parking deck, I am about to change the radiators on my, well, that's not the radiator, but the radiators on my 996. They got busted in a accident. Well, not really an accident. There was an accident before me. There's a bunch of road debris all over the road, and long story short, I ended up hitting the radiator, the bottom of my car at speed against some road debris, and it busted not one, but both of my radiators. Not one, but two of my radiators. So because of that, now I'm swapping my radiators out. I have some ones that I ordered. They're right over here in this box behind me. So as you can probably already tell, I have the bumper and the lights and everything already removed. I'm not going to film the entire process. I'm going to film segments of the process just to save time because I'm trying to hurry up and get this done today. Alright, so the tire's off. Now I have to remove this wheel liner right here, and pretty much after that, the radiator will be connected to this hose and this hose, which I will have to disconnect. And here are my new to me radiators. This one's marked left, and this one is marked right. And the right side is the passenger side, left side is the driver's side. Okay, so I have the bracket off. I don't know, it's like kind of weird with the lighting. I have the bracket off that holds the radiator and the AC part up. The resistor is there. There's the bracket. You can actually see where the bracket hit the object from the accident and bent that and caused the radiator to go up, which cracked the radiator right. You can't see it yet. I had to pull it off. Alright, so the first radiator is off. It's actually not very difficult to do once you take the bumper off and the wheel. All you gotta do is pull this liner down. You disconnect this hose from the top of the radiator, the bottom hose right there, and then the other top hose that is, where is it? That's the bottom hose, and can I put my finger on it? Right here. Can you see it? Yes, there it is. And then this is the other top hose. And you have to remove the AC heat exchanger and just pretty much put it up with a zip tie against the frame, and that's it. And then you install your other radiator. You also have to take the fan off. This is my fan. Right now, the resistor on my fan is working, but I'm about to do the resistor swap and put the aftermarket resistor on because these resistors are known to fail. So I'm gonna do that real quick and put it all back together. So this is my makeshift soldering bench. I have my electrical solder right here, and I have these stripped already, and these are already stripped. I'm going to tin these, put the red and the red together with the white, and then put the green together, put some shrink wrap on it. Where'd my shrink wrap go? Shrink wrap is around here somewhere. I don't know, I'll find it. Alright, that's one connection down. Now I'm going to put some of this on it, and then I'm going to put some, well, that's shrink wrap right there already on the line, but I'm going to cover it with this first. Alright, now those are soldered together. I'm going to put this insulating tape on it, and then shrink wrap it, and seal everything else up, and then reinstall it on the car. So we just finished changing out this side, the driver's side, and we did the resistor mod, and you can see the resistor there hanging out. And now we're gonna go and do the passenger side. So before I pull this one off, look at how bad it messed up my radiator. You can see the little wave where my car hit the object from the car crash, and yeah, pretty much burst my radiator and crushed it in a bit. Wheels off, my car's sitting on this ramp. I pulled the liner out. Let's go back a little bit, and basically to take this bracket off right here that you're looking at, you take this screw right here loose, which I've already done, and then there's two more screws under, right, let's see, right there and right there that you have to take off. And then this whole piece pretty much comes off. You have to take your air conditioner heat exchanger, I think that's what this is called. I can't think of the name of this. This comes off with these two screws right there and right there. And after you pull those two off, this thing just pretty much pulls off. And yeah, then you can get to your radiator hoses and you can pull the radiator off, which is very simple. It's just this hose right here. As you can see that. This one, like, it looks like a pipe, but it's a hose. But that hose and that hose. Alright, so I'm gonna show you how this exchanger, or these AC coils, come off. I can't remember the right terminology for this thing right now. It has some kind of name, but anyway, I pulled these two screws off. These are 8mm. That's all you have to take these off with. And there's two of them. One goes right here, one goes right here. And then there's this little tab on this side. And you just are gonna slide this forward carefully, like this. And once this clears this tab on the end here, you're home free. And there it goes. Now it's off, it's loose. And you still gotta be kind of careful with these connections. You don't wanna bend them up or anything like that. Luckily, mine didn't get damaged. So, got lucky on that one. And now my radiator is pretty much loose, and all I gotta do is disconnect my hoses and pull the radiator off. And then you have to pull these little tabs out. Let's see. There's these little tabs right here. There's 1, 2, 3, 4. You pull those off, and this bracket, this whole piece right here will come off, and your fan. And you just need a flathead to get under here and pry it up, and then pull this little clip off. See, this is how you pull the clips off. Just like that. And then you'll have this. It's very, very simple. And then you do the same thing with the, so those clips hold the side of the radiator on to this bracket. Then you have 2 more clips that hold your fan on to the actual back side of the radiator. And those pretty much come off the same way. The ones that hold the fans on are a little bit tighter than the ones that hold the actual radiator to the bracket. So you might need a little bit more convincing to get off. Well, once you get them halfway slid off, they pretty much just pop out like that. Simple enough. Now I got those brackets off and I got the screws loose. I'm going to show you how easy it is to pull this this little bracket, the little fan bracket and radiator bracket off. So this part kind of gets stuck sometimes, but it's not too difficult to get off. It's just a little brace right here that kind of gets it stuck in the way. So you got to kind of move it around a little bit to get it how you want it, but it will come off. And there's also a electrical connection that you have to take loose up here at the top, and it comes off pretty easy as well. Alright, the electrical connection is off. Now this should all be good to come off here. There goes that. It's still hanging on. Okay. And this piece and this piece, the fan and this part, come off almost as one. So there you have it. Your fan and shroud are a lot easier to take off as one piece than separate pieces. And it's also easier to put it back on. And then once you get to that point, all you gotta do is take this hose off and those 2 hoses over here, this one and this one. Okay, so I have the bottom hose and this top line disconnected. I'm about to disconnect the last hose so I can pull the radiator out. You know, sometimes I don't feel like wrenching it all the time, but sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do. And when you do it yourself and you know it's done right and you've saved yourself a lot of money, there's a lot of reward in that, and I really enjoy that. So that's why even on the days I don't feel like wrenching, that kind of stuff keeps me wrenching, because I'm like, you know what? I can do this myself. I can save myself some money, spend a little bit of time, but at the end of the day, it's worth it, because now I know more about my own vehicle, and I've expanded my personal knowledge, as well as save some cash. So it's a win-win, wrenching for yourself, wrenching in the parking deck. So now, the radiator is finally loose, and it can come out. Ugh. Okay. Oh, shit. Getting water on me. Or not water, coolant. I don't like getting radiator coolant on myself. It makes it kind of sticky. All right, so now I can go ahead and pour the rest of this out in here. And that's pretty much that. You can see the dent. Ooh, still got some in there. But yeah, you can see the dent. Now I'm about to replace it and put the bumper and the lights back on, and I'll be done for the day. Something else you want to do is check your part numbers. Now, right here, this is my old one. You can tell by the massive dent. You see the part number 996.106.132.51, and that's the same thing over here. But even though they're the same parts from the same year, this is 2001. This one right here is a 2001. They are slightly different for some reason. The metal sleeve on the inside is protruding a little bit more on this one than it is on that one. And yeah, same part number, same year. I don't know. All right, so I've swapped out the radiators, and now I'm going to try to put the fan and the bracket back in one piece. I did it on the other side, and yeah, hopefully it should go in without too much fighting. I just realized that it's a little bit easier to do it this way than the way I used to do it before. All right, now that screws in, it's holding the bracket up. Now all I gotta do is line everything back up and tighten everything down and test it. So now I'm about to line everything up. And this is still loose right here, but it's held in place right here, but I just need to put the two screws in the front. And there's pretty much, on the back side here, the fan is gonna go on to where it needs to go. But I need to make sure that it's lined up properly before I put it where it goes. All right, so now my fan is actually back onto my radiator. I don't know if I can show y'all this. Hopefully you can see it. And the next thing I have to do is line the bracket up that holds it all together with that part. This needs to go here, basically. This was put back on there, and these holes need to line up with this prong. These are the clips that hold your radiator to the back of your, not your radiator, that hold your fan to the back of your radiator. And they just go on just by sliding them on in place. I'm about to do now, like that. It's two of them, so you got the one in the bottom, one on the top. All right, so those two are on. I also need to make sure that I connect this hose before I tighten all this stuff up, because that would be a massive fail if I forgot to put this hose back on this, I guess this is an expansion tube or something like that for the radiator. Go ahead and put my electrical connection back on. It's much easier to do it now, while everything still has some wiggle room. Alright, so that's together. Now I'm just going to line the rest of the stuff up and connect this hose, and that'll be that. Alright, so I got all the vital stuff back together, and now I'm going to pull it back up on the ramps, put the bumper on, and put my lights back in. Reinstalling the airflow, the radiator airflow plenums. I don't know exactly what these things are called, but there's something like that. The function of them is to catch the air from the front of the vehicle and force it through the cooling system. And that's what I'm installing right now. It's 4 screws, pretty much a screw right there, a screw right there, a screw right there, and a screw right there. And that's how you get this part in that covers up your radiator. Now it's time for the fun. Bumper cover goes on. All right, bumper cover is on. It's finally starting like a car again. minus the headlights. So now, a few screws and a few lights. Just got done. Car's back together. Headlights, bumper, etc. New radiators. And the tools that I used were mostly, let's see, I used this 10mm socket right here. I used a 8, a 7 with an adapter. I used a 14, which is this one right here. And I used a 13. And really, I only had to use the stuff that was in my basic little Craftsman tools can. Anybody can do this job with pretty much your basic tools and like a set of pliers, but you don't have to have anything crazy like this, just some regular ones. And that's it. So job's done. What's up, YouTube world? Good morning. I'm your brother Reza, wrenching in the parking deck. And yesterday I just finished doing the radiators on my Porsche 996. The thing I did not show you was that when you fill your cooling system back up, you have to do what's called burping your system because of the complexity of the Porsche cooling system to get all the air pockets out to make sure you don't have any like spots that like overheat or anything in your motor. You have to burp the system. And to do that, you pop your trunk or your hood or your trunk, and you will see that you have your reservoir right here where you add coolant, and then you have this little doohickey right here. This little thing right here is the burping valve. So basically what you need to do is you pull this burping valve, like the normal position is down like that, right? So you need to put this up to allow it to burp, and then check your like turn your car on, add coolant, and then let it cool down, and add coolant again and let it come to like a decent temperature, and do that over and over again until you get your coolant back up to where it needs to be. So I did mine last night, and I've done this twice, and I was able to add like 2 quarts, I want to say, or yeah, I think 2 quarts of coolant to my cooling system so far, and that's about how much came out. I think I'm going to do about 2 or 3 more times just to make sure that I'm properly filled up. But it's just the process you have to go through with burping the system if you don't have a vacuum coolant device. I don't know exactly what that thing is called. I read about it on Ren's List, and it's like I guess it's a vacuum device that sucks the coolant through the system to make sure that you don't hit any miss any spots or anything like that. But I don't have one of those, and so I'm doing mine the parking deck way, which is to just add coolant, use the burping valve, let it cool down, add more coolant, etc. So I've already put back what came out of mine, so I'm pretty confident that mine is pretty decent and back to where it needs to be. But I'm still gonna check up on it when I leave my office, and then once I get back home, I'm gonna let it cool down again and check it again until I'm confident that I have enough cooling. But that's the last tip for y'all. The 996 is back running. Everything seems great. I'm gonna go out today and get it cleaned up, and probably the next thing I'm gonna do is paint correction, and then after paint correction, I think I'm gonna do the fister hack. So look forward to those videos. They're coming up. Wrenching in the parking deck. I haven't been wrenching a lot lately because I've been doing a lot of filming, but I have some plans coming up, and I'm gonna get to that. And then the valve covers on my G-Wagon over there, I ended up not deciding to put that off for a little while because they're not leaking, but I'm getting an intermittent check engine light that can come from when there's a lot of carbonation on the inside of the valve covers, because there's a PCV valve that has to be able to breathe through the top of the valve covers. But mine is so intermittent that I think I'm not going to mess with it for now, and I'm going to end up picking that job up probably when it gets a little cooler, maybe like October-ish. So anyway, like, subscribe. This is KRT Life. Share, comment. Hope you like our videos, and that's a little update for today. And here's a little glimpse of my 996 all back together again.
DJ Cash.